Hey, YouTubers. It's good to be back again, and today we'll be doing something a bit different. Still part of the Windows series, I promise. I do have a couple of videos to record with living off the land binaries, using stuffs that are native to Windows to actually exploit Windows. But today we'll be switching the hats from the offensive to the defensive. So we want to be playing the role of either an incident responder or like a SOC analyst, where we'll be looking into log files to find out threat. And we'll be going specific for three different kinds of threat. The first one will be the DOS, or the distributed denial of service attack. Then we'll be doing an insider attack. Then if we still have some time, I might do DOS again, but instead of using some classic low-key native tools like log parser, I'll be using Azure Data Explorer. Again, we need to know that all these can be done from the Sentinel dashboard, or even if you're using Microsoft, your Defender portal, you can as well do these kinds of advanced hunting. But we want to leverage some of these native classic tools just in case you don't have access to you don't have a Sentinel environment, you still collect these logs and you want to quickly analyze these logs to actually find out threat. And also you want to hunt for attacks on your network. You can still leverage these open source classic or tools to do your stuff. Now, one of them will be command line, which is log parser. Then the log parser studio would have a dashboard where we can actually have the user rich experience to analyze log files quickly and also create case studies based on our log files that we're analyzing that we can actually use to populate our reports. We can also have a good graphic view like display charts to quickly see and find out where exactly is the actor and what exactly they're doing, like from IPs, indicator of compromise or attacks like IPs, like hashes, and other stuff can be extracted as well from these two. Okay, enough with the ranting. Let's get into the business. All right, the first case study I'll be looking at is actually a distributed denial of service attack. So we have collected logs. So the case study one, we have collected this W3S VG3 log, which is actually a IS server logs. And you can see it's just a log file. So we'll be playing with this with the first case study. Hopefully we can actually find out some useful stuff from this log. So the first tool we're going to be using is the log parser. Now you can download this free. I'm going to leave links to download log parser in the description. I'm also going to leave links to download log parser studio in the description, so you can actually fetch these links and use them to download and play around. So, but I already have log parser 2. I think I'm just going to go to the directory and actually bring it up. It should be in my download folder. So you see I've got log parser studio version 2. I do not have to extract this again because I already have extracted it. It's right here. So if I go in this tool, I can just double click on this to open it. Now I can as well open it from my start menu. I'm just showing the path or the directory where this tool is. Fire this tool up, then we will load our data into the tool and start playing with our data so we can actually find out some useful stuff. So right off the bat, this is what you see. You see a bunch of libraries that are preloaded. Now these are useful libraries because again, they are kind of like queries, equipping us with predefined queries that we can use to hunt within a log file. Now, later on, we'll be showcasing how we can create a query for our own, but you can see there are already a bunch of them on like IIS, which we'll be looking at today, a bunch of good queries that can help us actually find out stuff like URLs, user agents, verbs that are used, as well as some IP addresses. We'll also be creating one later, which I'll be using to showcase how to create these rules as well on your own. So the first thing we want to do is to bring in our data. Now that we can see we already have preloaded libraries, bringing in our data should be the first thing that comes in our mind. And as you can see right here, we see this choose a log file. So we're just going to select this guy and we will look for a log file. Already I have it preloaded, but if you want to do that, you can download a folder containing a bunch of log files, or you can load a specific file. As in my case, excuse me, if I open that file, I will go to the directory where I've got my logs, and I will look for that case study one, and that is then that's my log file. So if I select that open, it's going to open it up for me, which is what you see here selected. Now I'm just going to deselect this. I can actually remove these ones as well if I don't want them in the. Okay, so I want to be sure I'm selecting the right one. I can drag this to the right. I can see it's the log file. Then I will click on open on this. So once I do that, it's going to load my log file. Now, you'd have to understand how to navigate your way around this tool to really get useful stuff. Some of the things you'd see we can actually get from these tools are quite useful. So the first thing we'll try to do is, since we've loaded our log file, let's try to maybe do a quick analysis. We know this log file was collected from a DOS attack, or distributed denial of service attack. So how about we first check maybe the total number of requests that we've seen. Again, this is IIS. We can scroll to where we've got IIS, and we can see options here. So I want to see maybe the total request per hour that was sent. So all I need to do is double click on this. Then it should pop up the red here. My bad. I definitely think something went wrong there. Okay. So I'm going to select that, go to the IIS and request per hour, double click on that. Then once this pops up, I just click on it. So it's going to load. Now you can see how easy it was for me to, I'm dragging this to quickly analyze the results. I can see that within 3 p.m., I've got this huge number of requests. That's crazy. That's 76,000. Again, the other ones are quite normalized, but this is extremely high. That's actually telltale or tail sign that this could be the time their talk started at about 3. If I want to make this a bit more user friendly, I can load this into a graph, or I can as well load this into other forms of charts, just so I can actually have good visibility into what I'm seeing there. So what we're going to do right away is we're going to try to load a chart and see what it looks like. If I go to the top, we would see create chart from these results. If I select on that, quickly I can just look at this and see that the attack started here. I've got the options to play with other kinds of chart. I would love to just do pie charts. I can definitely see the time the attack started. So this is quite easy to analyze and show me that, oh, within my log file, I see lots of requests within this time window. Now, this might still be a bit ambiguous. Later on, we'll try to see when the first set of high requests came in and when they stopped. That's to be like the start time of the attack and the stop time of the attack. But just quickly, you can play with other charts here so you can actually have good view. I love to also look at the aerial, because it gives me that area. Okay, I know it's within this time window. The total number of attack actually occur. Okay, so next what we're going to do is, now that we've seen the time it started, we're going to create another query. In the next query, we'll try to see if we can maybe, how about we find out, just thinking, we can find out maybe the top 20. Let's go over to our library. Let's find out like top 20 verbs. Okay, that's a good one. So we know usually you have a get and a post. Let's see if there are other kinds of verbs. Again, I'll double click on this, then I'll click on that red, so I can see the post requests quite high. Again, look at the maximum time, the average time as well. Compared to the get request, this is extremely high. If you're wondering, the tool actually gives you the query that is being run. This is like an SQL query. Okay, we're going to be creating one later. So, but the catch here is we can see the post request far outweighs the get request, and that's a huge amount of post requests going within this time frame. That's quite alarming. Once again, we can put this out in a chart if we wish. We can put this out in an area if we wish, just so we can actually see that, or pie chart. It gives you the flexibility to do, oh, that's a polar, my bad. The flexibility to actually see the request. But again, this is still quite ambiguous. We need to know, now that I know that I've got more post requests, what could be happening here? Is it that a lot of requests hitting my server and my server couldn't handle and crash? Why would this request crash my server? where exactly is this coming from as a user agent or an IP address, or what exactly would be the particular URL that is impacting this kind of failure. So we can filter. Let's say we take the case study of the URL. We want to find out where most of this is coming. Let's filter for top 20 URLs. I'm just going to run this. Now we can see something very important. So this already tells me, like, within my web application, I've got a bunch of these paths, but the highest number of requests are hitting this. It does mean that the attacker would have seen that there is a flaw, a denial of service vulnerability within this search item, this ASPX part of the application, and they are hitting it with this number of requests to crash the entire application. Definitely that worked. So we can see that this would be the malicious part here. Now we can also plot a chart for this quickly, so we can quickly view that. I love to still work with the area in this context. I can see that, yeah, the peak happened within that space, and that's quite alarming. A pie chart will also give us clear search item, the AXPX. We can see as compared to the total number of requests, this is taking almost 70% of the entire request that hit the web application. Definitely that's actually quite alarming. Okay, so what else can we actually search for? Now we've seen the number of post requests maximum. We've seen the particular part that is being attacked, which is vulnerable to this attack. What else can we actually get from this? How about we say we want to find out the total number of slow URLs, or the number of slow URLs that are actually pretty slow in the request. There's actually something there to help us. Let's see. There should be slow URLs. I'll double click on this, the top 25. We'll run the query. We can definitely see it correlates with what we just saw earlier, search item. We've got that maximum there again. It means that validates the fact that this is concerning from our investigation. Now, it's good to actually sometimes take screenshots of documents. So as you are doing this analysis, you could pretty much plot a chart like this, or you could plot a pie chart like this, and you want to take a screenshot, or you want to save this for data later on. Maybe you want to add to a report or something. You can do all that within this tool. I'm going to probably take a pause and just show how I can actually do something like that. Let's say we grab a bar charts. I can go to file, under this, sorry, I can go to file, I can save image as, and I can save this image to be used later on. You see it saves as a JPEG. I can load this into my report later just to showcase the analysis, or if it's a hunt, I can load this into the hunt later to showcase the analysis. I'm going to cancel this. Now let's go a bit more deeper. How about we want to see the user agent where most of these requests, don't forget, all these queries are still saved here, so we can actually fall back and look at from where we started, Q2. Let's go back to our library and let's see the user agents that are mostly used. And we'll try to correlate this with malicious user agent database from like the internet and see if, oh, this actually smells fishy. Okay, so from that query, we see all the hits. I'm going to drag this a bit more so we can have good visibility here. So we can see this is actually sparse, but the most hits, not really that much of a difference, but it's pretty sparse. Now, if you look at this URL, for the most part of it, we can verify if these are actually URL used by malicious kinds of activity or DOS activity. We'll go crawl the internet and pretty much just find something. Let's go into Googling if I have internet access. That's the log parser tool URL. Let's see if we can actually find something. Or I could actually search in GitHub and okay, let's see if we can find any database on GitHub. I'll filter with GitHub. Okay, so we've got this here. Let's quickly look at this one. Let's see if it makes sense. Correlates. Okay, this Probably not what we want at this point in time. We see the second one is the readme file. Okay, so we can see quite a different number of user agents, but again, this is not what I'm looking for. Yeah, sometimes it's good to just search. I will specifically search for, let's go to GitHub. Then let me search in GitHub's database. I don't have to sign in to actually search, so I'm going to just search for there's a particular one I know where I think it's actually Weibo crawler. Let's see if that works to charm. Okay, so we can see this guy over here. We can actually search in this. We should be able to see something. I'm just going to pause the recording. Okay, so I found one. Now, if you compare what you're seeing here, this user agent, it definitely looks like what we have here. In fact, it's like a match. It's like a copy and paste. It does mean that all these user agents actually are telltales, signs that definitely the requests coming from them are malicious in nature. Now, this is just a short overview. Usually, if this was like a task at work, you want to do a bit more research, more digging into, be sure and specific you are actually you know what you're looking for and what you're seeing. Again, we can plot a chart for this, and we can fetch this chart and save it and actually add it to our report. We can see gives us pretty neat view of what we need to see here. So I'm going to close that. Now we're going to go more into our requests. Let's say we want to find out IOCs like IP addresses. Now we've seen user agents, we've seen the request type, we've seen the verbs. Let's try to query for IP addresses if there are any within our reports. I'm just going to go hit by IP, and once again, that's like a bad one. I'm going to go back. Once again, you can actually select multiple requests and run them, but I love to just go one by one because it's easy to actually analyze. So I will load this up. It might take a while, but you would see the total number of IP addresses and the hits from these IP addresses. Now this is going to start making sense because you can grab these IPs and go to like abuse DB. If these IPs are malicious, we can quickly see that I've got a top 20 lists. Oh, not more than 20, there are a bunch of them. Now, most part of the requests were the highest coming from these first one here. So we're going to just take that as a sample. Let's go to abuse IPDB and search in abuse IPDB for the IP address. Let's grab the IP address. It is, can I just double click on this and copy this? Okay, so we'll copy this. We'll go to our browser. We will search for this IP address and we check if there's been any record. We can also do this within VirusTotal, because VirusTotal you can also check for IP. Definitely we can see this was found in the database and there's 100% match. Definitely this is actually a malicious IP. Now we can see how easy it was for us to validate that obviously this was an attack and this IP address was part of the attack. Now, while some people recommend create like a blacklist or something blocking IPs like this, for me that approach just doesn't scale, because we know IP addresses these days are leased, and there could be a short lease. You could as well be blocking services from some 3 months down the lane, services from good provider or something that you need to consume into your environment. So it just doesn't scale in terms of the pyramid of pain. Blocking IPs and hashes, they just don't scale. Okay, so but just to show you that this is a malicious IP, you might want to act accordingly based on your incident response plan or what you have in scope. But just to show you that, yeah, definitely this is malicious. We can do the same for all the other IPs, or what I would normally recommend is extract these IPs into a file, then run that against whatever tool you have internal. For us, we have specific tools that we can run this against, find IPs within our environment or entire data lake. Then we can now start going and doing the detailed hunting into those particular IPs. So, but just blocking this just doesn't scale. Okay, so let's move away from that talk. Now, we can definitely do a bit more like in the analysis for the charts. We can either, this doesn't really look good in the bar chart because there are quite a number of entries. I'll look at it in the pie charts. It might even be more better. So great, we can see a huge chunk of those requests came from this particular, but again, these are also concerning IPs. If I'm definitely sure you check all of them, one or two might be involved in a malicious activity. Okay, so that's just what I want to show at this point. Next, let's try to see if we can maybe create our own query. Now we've seen how we can utilize queries that are already in the libraries. These are like SQL style of queries. What if we want to create our own query? What does that look like? I'm just going to select like I'll select this here, create new query. So this is our query. Now I'll be creating this query under the IS because again, I want to analyze IS logs, but depending the kind of log you have, you can select specific here. In my context, I'm selecting the ISW3C logs because that's what I have. Now I can edit this here. So I'm just going to call this like hunt, maybe hunt attacker. Then let's build a query. So we're going to, this is again like an SQL query, don't forget. So let's select top from, let's say we make this 9 from the top 9, then CIP, again that's the source IP. We'll make a count. About, okay, that's a notification about accounts. Let's pass that count to CIP, then as requests count, then I'm going to leverage it from here. So we're making request count from the log file. Again, the log file is in the path already set. Remember, we imported that log into this, so we should be able to know where that log file is. Then we will add a few more lines here. So what we want to do is where something like where cs URI stem like, okay, we'll add a bit of let's see, then let's do like a group. Let's group by the CIP, then let's also order by count, my bad, order by count, then that counts with the CIP also. Okay, great. So now we've got our query built. What we're going to try to do is, again, we remember we already have a data set. So we just created a query. We want to hunt attacker or identify attackers by using this query. So this is just selecting the top 9 out of all the lists we have, account by IP, then request count. I hope I didn't make a typo there, from the log file path. Then also making some specific where statement that is yes or URL stem, like anything that has something like this, filter out. So what we're going to do is we're going to try as much as possible to save this. If it doesn't run error, we're going to call this maybe something like attack IP. Okay, that should be fine. Again, you can save this as whatever you want to save it. I'm just using something. Let me add a bit of top, like 9 attacker IP, so I can actually use that to recognize it. So just put like a potential attacker. Great. So we're going to save this query. Now we would go into the library. It might take a while to load because we just saved a new query. We'll look for, go to the T and find our query, top 9 attacker IP, select that. Oh, once again, just crazy. Select this, then we'll run this. So it's going to filter the top 9. Now we can see the top 9. Great. Again, this could be whatever you want to build. You could build top 20, top 10, top nine user agents, or top nine source IP or destination IP or stuff like that, depending on the requirement for your hunt. Now, once we got this working, it makes sense to save the output. So what we're going to do is we're going to save these outputs as a CSV file, which we'll use later for the command line analysis. So I'm going to save, export this, my bad, as CSV. So we're going to give this a name that is easier for us to actually recognize when we want to consume this. Just a basic one. I'll save it in this directory, case 1, okay, w3c. So we'll call this attacker dot csv. I don't have to put the CSV anyways, it's serious. Okay, I'll just call it attacker IP or something like attacker. That's just fine. So let's save this. Now, if I go in that path, we would see that I have just saved an attacker. As I don't have anything to open CSV file, I probably would have been able to show you that. But let's just go in there. Great, that's the attacker to CSV. So what we're going to do is we're going to play with the command line tool and see what it looks like. This video is currently 26, so let's see if we can actually make it 30 minutes for this first hunt case. And the second hunt case, I might record a completely new video for that. Okay, so attacker the CSV is already in. Now I'm going to put this in the background because for now I don't really need this now. I'm also going to put this browser tab in the background. Great. So we will switch over to the command line tool and play with the command line tool. So I'll go in here. Oh, my bad. If I still remember, CLI commands. Okay, great. So we're going to start the log parser tool, command line version of it. This is it here. Oh, my bad. This is it here. I already installed it. So if you install it, you will see that over there. I'm going to start that tool. Great. So in here, oh my bad, just use partial. Okay, so I see I've got a bunch of stuff in here. So the first thing I want to do is to make it easy, I actually have a bunch of commands. I want to set the path. So I'll set the path. So the path points to my, I will go in my directory where I want to, my bad, let's just go. I think in dir should be in user okay, then downloads. Let's see what we have in downloads. Okay, we'll go into a w. In that folder we have log. I love this because it's actually not case sensitive. So I'll go into the case 1. Okay, in case 1 we can see, oh, I did not. Case 1. Okay, in case 1 I can see I have the w3c. Let's go into that folder because in there I have my attacker.csv file. Okay, 2 minutes left. Let's quickly get this stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set the path, our path here, to point to the installation path for log parser, so we don't have to always put the absolute path to run the tool. We can just run it from the command line without having to point session to where that tool is. So I just need to copy that and paste that in here. Oh, my bad. There's a bit of lag. I'm not sure why. So let's set the path again. Okay, so now we set the path. So if we run log parser, it should run the tool. We don't have to point to the path where it is. So the first thing we're going to do is now that we have the path set, let's try to look at our data, the data we already have. Let's just analyze the data and see if the data looks good. That's the CSV file we saved. So we'll do the IP and request count first. I'm just going to copy these commands. Now, if you want these commands, I can leave them in the description as well. But I'm making it easy for myself, so I don't have to. The name of the file. attacker.csv. Great. So we can as well see from what we've extracted, we've got these IP with the highest request, but there are 9 counts. Remember, we selected 9 counts. So what next we're going to do is we're going to try to see if we can find the attack request time. Now the time it started, then also the time it stopped. Remember I mentioned that somewhere during the recording that I'm going to do the manual query to find out the exact time, or start time and stop time. Oh my bad, I hate this. I hate this thing like crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna drag it to this. I should probably do like a wrap. Should have saved myself that hassle, but I'm trying to beat my time here. So I'm gonna copy this and paste this in here. So we would see the attack by time. Now you would see at 3 or 15:01, we have multiple requests from different IPs within the same time. This is a distributed attack, now service attack. Again, if this is using a bot infrastructure, as you expect, this bot can send multiple requests from different IPs at the same time. They're all hitting the server at the same time. That's what you can see reflective in this time here. Okay, we're going to also do the last request time. Let's see if we can actually extract that as well from the log file. This system is just slow, I guess that's the problem. So I'm going to copy this request. How many minutes do I have left? Oh, I've already exceeded the minutes. Okay, so this will give us the last. So the last request came in at 15:11. Now remember, I only selected a chunk within the entire IP addresses. It does mean that there could be more requests after that time, because I only cut for the top 9, because I saw the number of requests from those IP addresses. You could also use an informed judgment to decide how many IPs you want to extract and go for detailed analysis, which is what I'm actually doing here. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to try as much as possible to show multiple IOCs together, like the IP address, the user agent, the request time, and let's put it all into like one picture and see if that makes sense. We could also do like a reverse DNS lookup. I think I skipped that one. I'm going to show it. Sometimes if the tool is not able to get a smooth internet connection, it's not going to do the complete lookup. So I'm going to rename this. I think I changed the name to attacker.csv. So it might take a while. It's going to try and grab those IP addresses and do a reverse lookup, but I must warn, usually bot infrastructures like this don't have like a domain registered to them sometimes. You can see out of all the 9, I've got this demo.com. We could now grab these again, go do some further investigation on Total or other tools that you have for TradingTel. We also see this kind of 13 census, scanner.com. Now we could see out of all the 9, only 2 of them were able to resolve. That could be because these bot infrastructures don't have domain registered to them, or could mean that the tool couldn't really query for a longer time to actually extract this. You can do your one-on-one check, or if you have other tools that you can just pass this IPs to resolve them automatically, you can as well use those tools. Okay, so finally, let's paint it all into one full picture, and that's where I'm going to stop the video because it's already 33 minutes. My bad. Okay, so we will be grabbing all those IOCs and putting them into one picture. So we'll see what this gives us. Is not very neat in terms of the presentation, but I guess you get the gist. So we can see the requests, total number of requests from this IP. We can also see the user agent that was used. Now, these are useful information for your hunt, for your investigation, or post-mortem kinds of investigation. So it's always good to have tools like this handy, just in case you don't have access to the internet, to your Azure infrastructure, where you want to use your Data Explorer, or you want to use a Sentinel, or your Defender portal. You can make use of tools like this to do offline analysis of data. That's the catch. It's always a good thing to have these kinds of skills of your bed, because just relying on the internet access, sometimes, as we've seen, if there is a compromise, you may not have those tools and you probably won't be able to load data into them to use them. Whilst there are plethora of tools out there, I just find this really fun and useful. So I would recommend, if you want to try this out on your own, you can actually do that. Okay, I'm going to call this video here, and the next video would be for the second hunt. Now remember, I did mention that for the second hunt, what we'll try to do is an insider attack analysis. We'll be seeing the next recording. Please do like our content, subscribe, and turn on the notification so you get the notification whenever we have good content or new content out there. Thank you for your time, and peace. Bye.